Jimmy Kimmel is planning his return to one of the biggest nights in Hollywood. His response as awards season begins to heat up. Plus, they're icons of rap, the message to a younger generation of female rap artists from this 80s rap group. Also, Out 100's annual list of changemakers, disruptors, and groundbreakers. We'll talk with Sarah McBride about her political aspirations and her message to transgender youth. Hi, I'm Tracy E. Gilchrist, and this is Advocate Today. Thank you for joining me. Jimmy Kimmel is returning to host the Oscars for a third time. Kimmel issued a statement saying he's grateful to the Academy. The only people who have hosted the Oscars more than Kimmel are Whoopi Goldberg, Jack Lemmon, Johnny Carson, Billy Crystal, and Bob Hope. The nominations will be announced on January 24th. The 95th Academy Awards ceremony is set for March 12th. The iconic hip-hop group Salt and Peppa now have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Salt, Peppa, and DJ Spinderella all attended the ceremony. The rappers were joined by fellow icons MC Lyte and Roxanne Shante. They were among the first female MCs, along with Queen Latifah, to win a Grammy. Peppa hopes she and others can be an inspiration to the next generation of female rap stars.
Like crossing over, we were going to London, we were going to Australia, we was going everywhere, and it was the number one question, will hip hop last? And I was like, yo, they know it's all over this world, and look at that, look at that, hip hop is last, and those women, we gotta keep empowering each other like we do, lifting each other up, pass the torch, and I'm telling you, this is our time as well, and it goes to show you that Salt and Pepper got a stamp in the earth.
Salt and Peppa had a slew of hit songs in the 1980s and 90s, including Push It and What a Man. They still have the best-selling album of all time by any female rap artist. Delaware State Senator Sarah McBride is the first out transgender person elected to a state Senate seat in the U.S. Her election win in 2020 was historic, but that wasn't the beginning of her political journey, and it's not the end. We spoke recently about her latest honor, being featured as one of the 2022 Out 100 honorees. Senator Sarah McBride, thank you so much for chatting with me, and congratulations on your Out 100 honor.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for the honor. I feel completely undeserving of it, having followed the Out 100 for years now. It's really a privilege and a pleasure.
Well, I mean, that is not true. You are 100% deserving. And to that end, I want to talk a little bit about, in 2020, you made history as becoming the first trans state senator. And I wonder if you would talk a little bit about this past year, especially you've been doing the work now for a couple of years. And would you talk a little bit about some of your accomplishments in 2022?
Sure. So, I'm finishing up my first term as a state senator, and let me just say, the fact that I have the privilege to serve the community that I was born and raised in, and to do it as my authentic self. I don't have to tell you or folks who are watching that would have seemed so impossible to me that it was almost incomprehensible as a kid. And so now to have this opportunity to serve really is the ultimate professional privilege of my life. And I'm a hopeful person. I've been hopeful from the change that I witnessed as an advocate working on LGBTQ equality here in Delaware and then nationally with the Human Rights Campaign. But I have to be honest, I am actually more hopeful at the end of this, my first term, than I was when I started after the 2020 election, which you mentioned was a first for trans people at this particular level or in this particular position. And I stand on the shoulders of folks like Danica Rome, who really blazed trails. Sure. But I leave more hopeful than I was when I started because I've seen what is possible. I've seen what I believed when I ran, which is that state legislatures have both a responsibility and an opportunity to be the last line of defense for our rights, and laboratories of democracy for bold ideas that meet the scope and the scale of the challenges that we face. And that hope, that desire, that belief that I had when I ran has come to fruition. It's been validated every single day in the previous 2 years. And I'm thrilled that when I ran as both the healthcare senator and the paid family and medical leave senator. And I'm thrilled that as I finish my term after 2 years as chair of our Senate Health and Social Services Committee, working on issues ranging from physician wellness and opening up pathways to physicians being able to get mental health care without sacrificing or risking their ability to practice and care for others. Whether it's the progress that we've made in oral health care in this state, opening up opportunities for care for underserved communities, or whether it's my main priority, which was passing paid family and medical leave in Delaware, which we were able to do. In 2021, I introduced the Healthy Delaware Families Act, Senate Bill 1, which would have provided up to 12 weeks of paid family and medical leave for Delaware workers who are welcoming a child into their family or struggling through a serious illness or caring for a loved one struggling through a serious illness. We introduced that legislation in May of 2021. And in May of 2022, the governor signed my legislation into law with the making it the actual largest expansion of the social safety net in modern history. And I think what we're proving is not that we can just do big things, but that when you elect LGBTQ people, we know how to create change and to create change effectively, not just on issues around sexual orientation and gender identity, but on issues across the board.
You are also seeking reelection. Yeah.
I am. I am on the ballot this November. I have an abbreviated term because of redistricting. So I was elected to a 2-year term, and I'm up for a 4-year term this November. Fortunately, I am unopposed, so I think my odds are good.
Good.
But someone said to me, when you vote for yourself, if you vote early, once you vote for yourself, that means you've won. So that's wonderful. I'm out there able to support my other colleagues and pro-equality candidates up and down the ballot here in Delaware so that we can continue to make progress in 2023.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for that. And, I don't want to continually go back to identity, but as someone who made history, you are an inspiration to people. And I wonder if you would talk a little bit about what it means to you to know that some maybe trans kid or just anybody, some queer kid, someone out there might see you and the work that you've done and your accomplishments and feel less alone, feel as though they might be able to, mirror your work in some way.
It is, and this is a word that people use, but it is truly humbling.
Yeah.
Now, that's an overused word, but it is humbling to know that opportunity and that responsibility, that serving in this position, that the message that the voters in this district, my neighbors in this district, sent to those young people that our democracy can be big enough for everyone. I know how much of a difference it would have made for me as a kid. They say it's hard to be what you can't see, and there weren't many opportunities to see what was possible when I was growing up, and so I know the difference it would have made for me as a kid, and it is humbling to know that the message that the voters sent, that the service that I have the opportunity to fulfill, that can provide a little bit of comfort and hope to young people who feel alone. But I'll be honest, for me, that inspiration goes right back in their direction. I find so much hope and inspiration from LGBTQ young people. I really always have. One of the privileges of my old job at the Human Rights Campaign, and one of the privileges of this job, is I get to meet young LGBTQ people across Delaware and across the country. And to me, those young people who are doing what once seemed so impossible to me as a kid, they are both living their truth and dreaming big dreams all at the same time as young people. They personify our progress. In many ways, I think it's why politicians on the right are going after them, because they personify our progress. They are badasses. They are the future. They are the present. And I find so much hope and inspiration from them as individuals, the work that they're doing, the advocacy, the voices that they are lifting, but also just from their presence, I find inspiration. And so it's a two-way street, I think.
You can read more about Sarah McBride's story on out.com or pick up the 2022 Out 100 featuring the year's most impactful LGBTQ plus changemakers in entertainment, fashion, politics, business, and beyond. See the full list of disruptors and groundbreakers on out.com. Scientists in Hawaii are looking at the bright side of climate change. They say the world will see more rainbows by the year 2100, a small but noticeable 5% increase. Researchers at the University of Hawaii predict the Earth will likely have a warmer atmosphere and more rainfall. Sunlight and rainfall are key ingredients to rainbows. Hawaii is considered the rainbow capital of the world. Thank you for joining us today. You can watch us on YouTube, download the app, or read more about these stories on theadvocatechannel.com. I'm Tracy E. Gilchrist, and I'll see you next time.